Shadow work is often seen as a very powerful tool for self-discovery and inner healing. However, there are certain aspects about shadow work that are not often talked about that can make this journey more difficult if you're not aware of this. And in this video, I want to share with you 5 of the essential things that you really need to know about shadow work before you even start this journey, or even as you're on this journey, to be aware of these 5 key things so you can really make the most out of this deeply transformative journey of healing deeply, discovering the truth of who you are, and really transforming your life from the inside out. Because shadow work is truly a powerful tool that can change your life in so many different ways. So let me share with you those 5 key things that I really think that you should know about shadow work so you can really make the most out of this powerful process. The first thing I want you to know is that shadow work is actually an ongoing process. It's not something that you do once, maybe like on a weekend, you spend time do shadow work and then you're done with it. No, shadow work is actually an ongoing process because we have all experienced so many things throughout our life that cause us to develop those shadow aspects. It's also these woundings, these past experiences, the things that we have learned, and all of those different things. They created those shadow aspects. And it's like, think of it like that. You're peeling back the layers of an onion. There's always another layer and another layer. And if you were to only spend, let's say, a weekend or just a couple of days diving deep into shadow work, then yes, you're clearing and healing whatever is ready to be uncovered at that time. But then as you're then moving forward, then more things can come up, because as you're moving forward through your life, as you're trying to do things, as you're stepping outside of your comfort zone, that's usually when shadow aspects are being triggered. And that's why shadow work is an ongoing process, which also requires you to really have that patience, being patient with yourself, being patient with the process, being patient with also the results that you're getting as well, and also to committing to this, because shadow work is a powerful process to really transform yourself from the inside out, to rediscover who you truly are deep within, deep beneath the surface of all these layers of doubts and fears and programming and masks that you're hiding behind, and all of those things that are really holding you back and keeping you from really being the truth of who you are, your true authentic self. So shadow work is really an ongoing process, because as you're going through life, life happens, right? Things happen, and those things, they can trigger those shadow aspects, as I just explained, right? So that's why it's so important that you keep doing shadow work, because also as you continue to grow, you're elevating in the life stages, so to speak. You're growing, you're evolving, and with each phase of your life, with each stage of your soul's growth, there are more things that are then being triggered within you. So that's why shadow work is meant to be an ongoing process, and not just a one-time thing, then you're done with it and you don't ever have to do shadow work again. However, as you're continuing this journey of shadow work, it becomes easier with time, because then you're also learning how to really navigate whatever shadow aspects are coming to the surface, and then releasing them, healing them, clearing them. And here I want to mention a video for you that can maybe help you with that. It's about how to uncover and then heal those shadow triggers. The link is in the description below. That can give you some insights into what to look out for as you're going through your life. When are you being triggered? But just know that shadow work is an ongoing process, not just a one-time thing. Then the second thing I want you to know is that shadow work can also be emotionally draining and overwhelming, because as you're diving deep into shadow work, uncovering your triggers, uncovering those emotional woundings and those type of things, and just uncovering the things that are really holding you back, that can be very emotionally draining, because you're really going deep into the trenches of uncovering what is really holding you back. And you're often also uncovering those deeply buried emotions and even trauma, which can cause you to feel very overwhelmed, drained, and even challenged, especially if you're not quite sure how to really do shadow work on your own, or if it's just so intense, like if you're really doing shadow work around some deep trauma, some deep emotional woundings. If you're doing this on your own, this can be quite overwhelming and quite draining. So here a suggestion is, if you are doing shadow work and you are feeling emotionally overwhelmed by it, and here maybe get help. Seek support, because that will then make this a lot easier, because you just then decided, well, I don't want to deal with this. I'm not going to touch that. It's not going to make these things go away. These deeply emotional wounds and the trauma is still going to be there, whether you want to or not, or whether you want to become aware of it or not. But these things are there, and they're impacting your life. They're negatively affecting your life. They're holding you back. So And this is why shadow work is really so important, but it can lead to that emotional overwhelm as you're really working through these deep emotions, the trauma. Which is also why it's so important as you are going through your shadow work practice, that you also take care of yourself. Self-care is huge. Taking a break, maybe whenever things are getting very challenging, maybe do take a break. Maybe take a step back. Let it all settle before you then dive deeper into things. Or like I said, even get help if you need to help you through this process of really healing deeply. But it is really normal to feel quite drained and tired at times as you are releasing a lot of those shadow aspects, because it's also, we're talking energy here as well. As you're releasing a lot of that pent up energy, the woundings, the trauma and things like that, it can be very taxing to your body as well, because you're releasing a lot of that stuck energy. Then another thing I want you to know is that can happen with shadow work is that you may actually lose certain relationships. And this is because as you're going through your shadow work practices and you're healing deeply, you're growing, you're releasing stuff, you're really becoming a new version of yourself that is no longer held back by whatever you healed and cleared. What that can also lead to a misalignment in certain relationships in your life. Where previously, before you healed those shadow aspects, the relationship was going good, but then after you healed those aspects, there may have been then a disconnect or a misalignment in these relationships. So you may notice that certain relationships in your life, they are changing, they are transforming, they're also maybe dissolving as well. Now, this can also be a good impact on your relationships as well, because as you're healing and clearing, this can have a positive impact on relationships. So the relationships could get better. They could evolve, right? They could grow into something more beautiful. But then you can also lose certain relationships because simply you're no longer in alignment with the other person. And that's perfectly fine, because we all are on our own journey of self-discovery, inner healing, and things like that. So certain relationships, they came into your life to actually help you on your healing journey. You think of it like that, like soul contracts, soul agreements, that these people came into your life to help you on your journey of greater awakening and self-discovery and also inner healing. So just be aware that if you are noticing that certain relationships are trying to dissolve or come to conclusion, don't try to hold on to it, because then when you're trying to hold on to those relationships, you're actually holding on to that old version of you that you have actually already outgrown, and that causes then more friction, more disconnect within the relationships that can then also put a negative strain on the relationships as well. But just know that you may then actually outgrow certain relationships, which is, like I said, is perfectly fine, because then you're moving on and the other person is then also moving on too. So you both can move on your individual path of what is to your highest and greatest good. Then another thing I want you to know is that shadow work is not just about healing the negative, uncovering the patterns and all of those things. It's also about then embracing the gift, the positive, the message, the lesson. Because each shadow aspect, each challenge holds a message, a lesson, and a gift. And when you're doing shadow work and you're only focusing on a negative and the shadow aspects and all of that, you're actually staying in somewhat of a negative downward spiral, so to speak, right? But what you want to do is, as you're really diving deep into the shadow aspect, you want to then feel it in order to then uncover the message, the lesson, and the gift. Then what you want to do is you want to heal and clear the negative charge around the shadow aspect, but then take with you and then embody and integrate the gift, because that will then also help you really tap into your full potential. It helps you to grow, and it also helps you to actually then dissolve the shadow aspect, because you're taking the good from it, what you were meant to learn from, the gift within it, and you're letting go of the negative aspect. This is also then very important to actually healing and dissolving the woundings, the shadow aspects, letting go of the things that are holding you back, helping you become more empowered and courageous, maybe even more motivated and inspired. So it's really important that you also embody and embrace the gift, the positive within the shadow aspect. A lot of people are forgetting that. A lot of people that are diving into shadow work, they're only focusing on the shadow aspect, the negative. What's holding you back? And what are the woundings? What is the trauma? And all of those things, which is a vital part of shadow work. But they're often forgetting the most important thing is what you got to take the good with it. You got to uncover the message, the lesson, and the gift within the shadow. Take that with you. Embody that. Anchor that in. Embrace that. But let go of all the other. All the negative. That's a very important key piece here that I really want you to know about shadow work, because that's how you then transform and transcend into a higher way of going about life. You become more of your true, authentic self. And it's by embodying the gift within the shadow. And finally, the last thing that I want you to know is that shadow work can lead to immense freedom and authenticity. However, it's not always, or it's rarely, an easy journey to walk upon. Because even though you can create these massive shifts and transformation and really grow and become your more empowered and authentic self, it comes with a lot of challenges. Now, I just mentioned a couple of those challenges, because as you're really diving deeper into all of those things, the woundings, the shadow aspects, I mean, you are uncovering a lot, which can be draining, which can be overwhelming. You may then lose the relationships, all the things that I just mentioned to you. But I truly believe that the outcome, the benefits of what you get by doing shadow work very much outweighs the challenges, the setbacks, the emotional overwhelm, all of the things that I just mentioned as well. It definitely outweighs it, because you become your true authentic self. The more shadow work you do, the more you uncover, well, what's really going on deep within you. And that, the outcome of that, the freedom that you will experience, because then you're also becoming more empowered. You're becoming more courageous. You're really experiencing more of that freedom, because you're no longer held back by all that stuff. The shadow aspects, the mask, the fears, the doubts, all of that. It's no longer having power over you anymore. So you're basically setting yourself free from that. And that truly outweighs all the setbacks and challenges and all the not so pleasant experience that you might have because of shadow work. So the reward of shadow work is truly outweighing the challenges. I mean, wouldn't you like to feel more free within yourself, no longer held back by all the doubts, the fears, and all of those limitations, that you are your own empowered person, your authentic self, that you can go after the things that you want without holding back or giving your power away to certain situations in your life or circumstances or even people because you feel that they have power over you, but no, you're taking your power back? I truly believe that this definitely outweighs all of those not so pleasant experience of shadow work. And I really want to invite you, if you are on your journey of shadow work, continue on this journey, because it will truly set you free. You will experience this deep inner excitement, that freedom, that feeling free and feeling like you are your authentic self, no longer holding back. And your life will then transform because of the inner work that you're doing. You're changing your life on the outside based on what you're changing within you. It will also help you live a more aligned, more joyful, happier life. And you may even be surprised of what you discover as you're doing the shadow work, of who you truly are deep within. So here you go. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Now, I'm curious to know, how are you doing with shadow work? Have you noticed any of those things that I just mentioned in this video? Leave me a comment below. Let me know. I would love to know. Also, if you would like some support on your journey of shadow work, then maybe consider joining me in my membership Transcendence, where you can get ongoing support, guidance, healing, and mentorship, and also the community to really help you embrace this journey of really transforming yourself from the inside out and becoming your true authentic self. So thanks so much for watching. Now also be sure to check out these two videos here. One is about how to recognize those shadow triggers, and then also another one is about the 6 common mistakes people make as they are starting shadow work. So thanks so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you again in the next video. Until then, make an amazingly abundant and joyful day. Namaste.